Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a story time, and I have not done a story time for you guys in some time now. The last one that I did was with Karina, but I haven't done one like by myself. And like you guys know, if you guys are OG followers, if you guys have been going back to my videos like I have, then you guys know that I used to do a lot of story times on here. And I was just like one day reevaluating my life, one day being yesterday, and I was like reevaluating my life. I was watching a whole bunch of like my old videos on my blog channel, and just trying to get inspired again with like content. And it happened to be that Yvette and I were actually having a conversation about this scenario that I'm about to share with you guys right now, and it's what led me here today. So if you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Blanca Yvette. If you guys are not new here, then welcome back. I want to be able to share some story times with you guys and just bring you back to like little situations that I've had in my life. A lot of these stories are, of course, when I was a lot younger, when I was like in my high school years, and I feel like it was the juiciest times in my life. So I want to just like share with you guys some of those what the fuck stories. Okay, so for this story, I'm going to share with you guys about a friend of mine. And this friend in particular, we weren't really like besties, like we were not like best friends, but we were pretty close friends. Like we shared a lot of the same like likings together. Like we had the same like familiar like vibe. Like we were both like really into makeup, really into hair, and I actually met her at cosmetology school. So as far as like school goes, she was always like missing. It was kind of like back and forth. She was having a lot of situations like going on in her life back home, like just a lot of stuff that I really didn't really know too much about, because once again, she was very vague with what she shared with me and what she told me. She really didn't like to like open up too much about like what she was going through like emotionally or anything like that. The only thing that she would share with me was about her and her relationship with her boyfriend. So it was something that we could also relate to, because I was in a very toxic relationship at the time. So I feel like we were just kind of like there for each other and needing each other's like company to just like feel better about the situation, especially because a lot of my friends were like over me and my situation, because like I kept going back to like my cheating ex-boyfriend. So like she was just the only one that really like kind of like understood what I was going through at the time. So we had a little situation where we were just hanging out one day, and she actually asked me if I had ever gotten my cards read. And I had actually gotten my cards read before. I have actually gotten my cards read in Mexico. And before anybody like drills me, like I know a lot of people are like super against like tarot card readings, and I myself am super against like tarot card readings now, like just based on my experience. And it's something that I definitely do regret. But I feel like still till this day at 30 years old, I genuinely feel guilty by association over the situation that I'm going to share with you guys in the story that I'm going to share with you guys. So she asked me if I've ever gotten my cards read, and I told her yeah. My experience in Mexico was very different than I would have ever experienced here, because I feel like a lot of the tarot card readings here, they're very like, I'm a psychic, let me tell you your future, let me read you your aura, like all this stuff. And it was very different in Mexico. You kind of like go like, especially where I'm from Michoacan, so like we believe in like brujeria and like all that stuff. Like that stuff does not take lightly where we're from. And I know that a lot of my family members have experienced situations like this just themselves, and just like energies. And I feel like I 100% do believe, just as much as I believe in God, I do believe that there's a lot of negative and ugly energy in the world as well. So it's definitely stuff that you should not play around with or mess around with, and I've definitely learned. So she asked me if I got in my cards read, and I was like yeah. I was like did you like have something in mind, or what was going on? Like it was just a different question that I guess I was not expecting. She was like yeah, I've been actually looking for somebody. I found this guy and he's really good. He's in the next city over. So I lived in Stockton, and there was a bunch of little cities like Lodi, Manteca, Modesto, Sacramento, Elk Grove. Like there's a lot of like areas around us. So we went to the next city over, and she told me about this guy who apparently is from Colombia, and he does like amazing like readings, and he's like known to be like very like curantero. Like he would just curar, and he was like, he would practice not brujeria but santeria. I think it's different, or maybe it's worse. It's not black magic, I don't know. I honestly don't know the difference, but he was practicing something else that wasn't brujeria, and apparently it's very popular in Colombia. So she was like, okay, I got to the location. It was like this small little area next to like a salon, And I was not like weirded out by it at all, guys. Like I was not weirded out by the situation that we were in, or like the vibe. His energy wasn't weird, he wasn't creepy or anything. Like the location wasn't creepy. There wasn't like voodoo dolls or anything. It was all very like holy, if anything. Like I saw a lot of santos, like I saw a lot of like veladoras with like la virgen, like just a bunch of stuff. So like it didn't make me feel uncomfortable, and I feel like I would have felt some type of like energy if I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there, and it didn't feel weird to me. So we go in there and she's like, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? And I was like, I was kind of hesitant, like, do I even want to get my cards read? Like, do I even want to go? And like, if I would have told my mom wouldn't have been like, estás loca. Like, my mom has actually gotten her cards read consistently, so like to her it would have just been like, oh, okay, you know. But to me, now that I'm like, I have a little bit more knowledge in like my situations, I know not to like bring those types of energies, because you can attract really bad energies like that. Okay, so we went into to get the cards read, and she went first, and then she came out and she was like, oh my god, like it was so good, you're gonna love it. Like it kind of made me feel a little bit better, more comfortable about getting my card read. And I was just like, okay, fuck it, like let me just go, like what's the worst that could happen, right? So then I go into get my cards read, and you know, the guy's like, oh, so like he was talking to me in Spanish, but he's like, talk to me, like cuéntame un poquito de ti, like you know, what do you want from the reading, like stuff like that. And then I was just kind of like, well, that's suspicious. Like, shouldn't you be telling me about me? I was just kind of like not trying to share anything with him, because I wanted him to wow me. Like I wanted him to be like, oh, so are you currently da 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 da, or are you currently, like I wanted him to make me feel like he was really like legit, right? So he starts kind of telling me like very brief stuff, like, and I really didn't open up, I didn't really say much. And he did share with me just like my relationship, that it was going to get better, and I was just kind of like, what do you mean it's gonna get better? So I was kind of like, okay, but then that's also could be very vague. Like he doesn't know what relationship. He didn't specifically say a relationship with a man. It could have been a relationship with my mom, my sister, my uncle, like anybody. I feel like that's just very vague. So I left the reading, you know, we paid him, I think he charged us like $25 or $35. And I was just kind of like, okay. So then we left, and I didn't question my friend at all. Like I didn't question anything, like how was your reading, what did you feel, what did you say, like nothing. I just kind of was like, oh, like okay. Like we just kind of got in the car and we went about our day. So I was driving, and you know, like the conversation kind of slowly started, because she was just very like not disconnected, but she was just thinking a lot. Like she was just kind of like thinking and thinking and thinking, and I was like, hey, like are you okay, like are you good? And she was like, yeah. She was like, dude, that was such a good reading, like did you like it, you know? And then I was like, oh, I was like, yeah. I was like, it was cool. Like I tried to like not, like honestly my reading wasn't like all that great, so I didn't have much to share. So I was just kind of like, yeah, it was good. And she was like, man, like it's so cool, like I'm glad that I found somebody here, like now I can come and like, you know, like get my cards reading here. And I was like, oh, like you like to do this a lot, you know? And then like I wasn't nobody to judge her, because like I'm really into astrology, like I love manifestation, like I believe that like we attract like karma, like I believe in all of that, you know what I mean? Like I am a firm believer in like the universe, and I am a believer that God created the universe, so we do have a way of communicating with the universe to make things happen for us. Like that's just genuinely me, like coming from me. Like I know that only God can predict our future, and I do believe that our future is destined, but I am a believer that we are energy here, you know, like we can attract these things. And just how you can attract positivity, you can definitely attract negativity into your life. So I was just kind of like, you know, like intrigued by what she had to say. She was like, man, it's just really cool, it's like blah blah blah. So long story short, that situation happened, and it's gonna make sense later on in the story time. So that day kind of just happened. We went back to our normal lives, chilling, vibing, having a good time, communicating, blah blah blah. Then things started getting really, really bad with her and her boyfriend. And like I said, this was the one thing that we could genuinely like relate to, where we can just talk and just like talk about like daily, like our stuff, our relationship, and what we were going to. So with that being said, like our relationship was just something that we can kind of like relate with each other, because I feel like a lot of people at that age can relate to those toxic relationships. It's like when you think you're in love, and it's like you mistake that with what you're currently going through, you know? So he started just being very obsessive, like just very controlling, super like 360. Like he was really like into her, really in love with her, really like a vibe with her, but it was not like how we expected it to be now. You know what I mean? Like now it was just a lot. It was like he was going to the school and showing up, causing scenes, and like calling her like excessively, and like wanting to see her really late at night, and like just being very creepy, like very weird, like to the point where it was like becoming very obsessive. And I was like addressing my concern, but I also didn't want to get too involved, because it also wasn't my place to ever like make her feel uncomfortable or butt in. I felt like at that moment I was just kind of there to listen and like try to be a good friend as much as I could without voicing too much of my opinion, especially because I've had friendships in the past where like I've lost friendships because I'm too vocal about how I feel about the boyfriend. And it's like, why am I gonna sit there and like try to make something change when it's not my place if somebody's not ready to make that change, you know? So I just sat there and I just kind of like let it play out. And there was this one situation where an encounter happened, and I came out and he was like grabbing her and like telling her to get in the car, and he was like, she's like, I'm not going, and she's like crying. And then I step in, being a fucking chismosa like I am, entremetida, like metiéndome lo que no me importa. And I literally went in and I was like, you need to leave her alone, like stop, like you need to leave before I get security. Like we had security there, so I was like, I'm gonna get security to come and escort you if you don't get the hell out of here. Like I was trying to like be all big and ballsy, you know, like get into this guy's face for no fucking reason. And you know, she goes in and she's crying and she's like, thank you for that. She's like, I have no idea what's wrong with him, like he's been like going crazy on me, like he's just like wanting to be with me 24/7, like I have no idea what the fuck is wrong. And I was just like, damn, like that's crazy, like you need to like try to like tone it down. She's like, just stop talking to him for a minute and see if he settles down and like figures it out. Situation started getting a lot worse, okay, like really really bad. And my friendship with her just kind of started to like not drift away, but we weren't, after we finished school, like we weren't hanging out as much. Like we would party occasionally, we would hang out occasionally, we would like you know do certain things. We would see her at like certain, like I would see her at like certain gatherings, and then she ends up moving like out of town. And I actually had a situation where she met Ulises, and like some shit went down where Ulises told me that he was like, that she was trying to like get at him or something. This is when me and Ulises were first dating. And she was telling me that there was something weird about my friend, and like it just got weird. Okay, and that's like a whole different other story time, but it just got really weird between us. And we kind of just like, nothing happened like at all, like nothing weird, like it just kind of like drifted, you know, like it just stopped like like communication. So a couple of years passed by, and I was with my sister Viv, and we were like, oh my god, one of her friends was like, hey, do you know anybody in the area that does tarot card readings? And I was like, oh my god, I do. I was like, I have this guy and he apparently is like really good. I was like, I didn't have like the greatest experience with him, but apparently he's really good. She was like, oh, okay. She's like, I've been wanting to get my cards read. So mind you, these are just normal conversations. I don't know if you guys have these conversations, but like people really do like to get their cards read for some reason. So it was like a conversation that just came up a couple years later. So my sister was like, hey, like so and so wants to know what the location is. And I was like, honestly, I have no idea what the location is. I can take you there, but I have no idea what the address is. And then she was like, okay, just come with me. And then Viv was like, are you sure you want to go? And I was like, yeah, it's fine, whatever, like I'll just go with her and like I'll show her where the location's at. So then Viv was like, okay. So then I end up getting in the car with my sister's friend, and then I go to the tarot card reading place, and then I get there with the guy. And then we're like talking and blah 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 blah. And then as I'm sitting there, she goes and gets her chart card read, and then I wasn't wearing makeup, so I don't know if like the guy didn't recognize me or like he thought I was a completely different person. But I was like, oh, how have you been? I was like, I've been. He's like, how did you hear from us? And I was like, oh, I was here with my friend. And then I told her name, and then she was like, oh yeah, your friend. She's like, how is she doing? And then I was like, oh, she's good. Like this was a couple years after, you know. So I was like, oh, she's good. I was like, I'm sure she's doing great. Like I really hadn't heard from her or heard like much of her or anything like that. So I was just kind of like, oh, like she's been fine. Like I kept my distance after the whole like Lisa situation happened. Like it was just very like sketchy to me. So I kind of just obviously kept my distance and had no idea, but I just kind of played it off like I did. I was like, no, she's been great. Then she's like, the guy's telling me like in Spanish, she was like, oh my god, like que bueno, like I was a little worried for her. And then I was like, what do you mean you were worried for her, you know? And then she was like, and then me me being smart, like I was just trying to play it off like, oh sí, verdad, pobrecita, like trying to see like that, trying to make him think that I already knew what he was talking about, but I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. She's like, yeah, she's like, se puso bien nerviosa después de que no le funcionó su ritual, like the ritual, you know. And then I was like, I don't know how he said it in Spanish, and I was like, the fuck do you mean the ritual? And then she was like, he was telling me, he was like, yo le dije a la muchacha que no lo hiciera con si estaba like if she was mad. Like he was basically trying to explain to me like she did a ritual and he told her not to do it in a sense of emotion because it could have went bad. So long story short, he ends up telling me that she bought apparently like a candle, and I didn't notice, and I was wondering why she was so quiet, but I didn't really like notice what the situation was because the drive was just kind of quiet. But you know, she would carry her purse, like I don't know where she put it, I don't know what the situation was, but apparently she bought a candle that is very popular in Colombia, and if you light it up with the intention of you know, bringing some positivity into your life, you can actually bring people into your life. So apparently she did it to like keep her relationship healthy and like happy, and like have this guy like love her and like appreciate her, which it completely went 360 and made him obsessed with her, like legitimate obsessed with her. And when I heard that, guys, like my blood dropped, like I felt chills all over my body. I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, I just was like, I was here. How did I not notice? How did I not know any of this was happening? How did this situation even like how, like I just at that moment I felt like I was a bad friend, but then like I wasn't like asking the right questions, but then like it wasn't my place. Like what was she going through that she felt like she needed to do that? And now it explains why he completely did like a 360, and he was like blowing her up and accusing her of like doing stuff and just being super psychotic and just being like crazy and just being like all this like mess, and like nobody really knew what was happening, you know. Like I didn't even know, so I kind of just stayed like, what the hell? And then my sister's friend's like, oh, you do that? And I was like I was like, what the fuck's happening here, you know? I was just so confused, you know. And then I was like, no, I think she's better. And then she was like, yeah. She's like, well, she came back and I told her how to reverse it, and like that she was gonna be fine and she was gonna be okay. She just needed to follow the steps and everything was gonna be okay. And I was like, oh my god. But then it all kind of made sense because like as the years went by, like because you know we were kind of cool still in between the time of the drifting part, they did break up and he kind of just stopped fucking with her. Like he just stopped, like he like from one day to another just like didn't want nothing to do with her, and like he just was like being very distant, very just like not hateful, but he just wasn't wanting to be with her. So I don't know if like it made the situation like hate her. It went from him being obsessed with her to like loving her and like wanting to be with her forever, to like just like not wanting nothing to do with her. But it was so fucking crazy. And like a couple years after like me hearing that, I was just like, what the fuck? So then now like me being 30, okay, this happened when I was like 17 18, I want to say, maybe 16, around the like 16 to 18. I don't really remember like the exact age. I know I was driving already, so, and I was in cosmetology school, so it was around like that age. But I think back and I'm just like, man, like you don't realize how much of those things get attracted to you. And like I feel like now like I blame myself a lot of like even being in that situation. And although I didn't do anything myself, just knowing that I was there and that I got my cards read, and that was the last and final time. I have only gotten my cards read twice, and I have never ever gotten my cards read. Like I've seen like the videos like on YouTube and stuff where like people do like the tarot card readings and like all that stuff, but like I genuinely feel like all that stuff brings a lot of negative energy. And like there was a moment where I was getting like really into crystals, and I was like, okay, like I felt like it was kind of like draining me. Like I was depending on like a certain crystal to bring you like a certain positive energy because it was becoming so popular that I was just like, what am I doing? Like I bought like a couple of crystals, and then I actually ended up just like getting rid of them. I googled how to like get rid of them because I also heard that with crystals, like if like and nobody who like if you guys believe in like crystals and like mal de ojo and like all of that stuff, like please don't come with me, because come for me, because I already know that there's a lot of people who really believe it, but I feel like there's a lot of people who don't do it right, and that's when it gets you in trouble, because people think that anybody can do it, and it's not. Like you're opening doors and situations that are not okay. So like that's when I just kind of like cleansed myself. And like when I found that situation out with that guy, like I was going to church, like I was praying, I was like, I really, that's kind of what when I really got into like just reading the Bible, because I felt like I was just so guilty. And like that's why I feel like I always have a fear of like just negative energy around me, because I saw how powerful it was, you know. Like I witnessed it myself, and I saw the rage in him, like when he was speaking to her, like talking to her the way he was talking to her. Like now visually seeing it before, I'm just like, oh my god, like you weren't you. And like that is just so scary to me, that people have that power to just manipulate you or get those toxic energies. But that's why when you like dedicate yourself to just be a good person and just having good positive energy, then those things can't touch you, you know. So I feel like that's why I've tried to always continue to like surround myself with like peaceful things. But then when little situations happen, it triggers me so easily, like ghosts and like scary stories and like stuff like that, because it reminds me of that fucking moment. And like a lot of you guys have also been telling me like, do you think something's attached to you, or like something's like around you, because you're always hearing certain shit? And I'm just like, I hope not, because like I genuinely, like I got cleansed, like I confess, like I've gone to church, like I tried to do my part to like eliminate myself from even being like associated with what was happening. And although I was not there when it was happening, like just knowing that I did that, like getting my cards read, I feel like it opened up like such a different like I don't know, like just a different situation. And like the whole crystals things, like I got rid of my crystals, like I just didn't get involved with any of that stuff. And I know I do believe that God had, you know, everything to do with what the universe is today. So I do strongly do follow like astrology, as far as like how people are and like personality traits and stuff that we carry based off the energy that's around us. But I don't know, it's so just weird to me. Like let me know what you guys think. I know I was like kind of like all over the place, but like I don't know, like sometimes I do wonder, like is she okay, is she fine? Like she doesn't know that I know that, like and honestly, like, I haven't never seen her like on social media, Instagram, nothing. Like she just kind of vanished off the planet of the earth. I've never seen her again, and I've never heard from her. We don't have any mutual friends. Nobody ever kept in touch with her. Nobody ever kept in touch with him that I know of. Like, and he, you know, he went to a completely different school than I did, so like I wouldn't even know. But like nobody really knew kind of what happened. And sometimes I do wish, like, is she okay, is she fine, is he okay, is he fine? Like did anything ever happen? Because like it didn't come from her. I just kind of ended up finding out because of the situation that happened when I happened to like go back and, you know, meet this guy again. But yeah. That is like one of the crazy stories that happened to me, guys, where I found out that my friend was doing freaking creepy shit, and like I felt guilty by association. And like I know God knows that I'm good. Like I am una niña de Dios, I promise. I am like a niña de Dios, okay? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And like I said, if you guys have ever had any creepy like experiences with like tarot card readings, or what you guys even think about like the spiritual like vibes of that, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys want me to do like a video of like honestly like just astrology in general, and why I like separate astrology from like brujeria, because I honestly do not feel like it has any hand in hand. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of misconception on astrology and brujeria, because there are people that are doing it for like black magic and bad stuff, and then there's like, you know, the good energies that you can really attract into your life, you know what I mean? I hope that's not contradicting, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video though, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do want more crazy story times, let me know. If you guys want me to share with you guys this crazy story about how I found out that whole situation happened with Ulises and that girl wanting to get at my mans, let me know. I have a lot of stories, a lot of shit that just happened to me in my early years. And yeah, if you guys are ready for that, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Love you guys.